I've only been to Denver for GAF, but my top 3 aren't GAF direct related. So whatever. Yeah, I'm hybrid. Hello, world. Thanks for joining us. Traditional. We're just going to wait a couple minutes, let everyone get the notification, wait till we have our baker's dozen or so, and then we'll fire up the mighty Indie Beer Show Radio.
Woohoo! All right.
Yes.
Let's go. How are you guys doing today?
The Babineaus are here already and just barely beat Mary Jane.
Hello,
Mary Jane.
Fist.
That's what Matt thinks of us.
Mm-hmm.
Just fists.
I'm going to start pouring this because it's going to take 6 minutes.
I was gonna ask that. Is that how long it takes? 6 minutes.
Well, we'll ask her. We'll save it for the show.
Yeah, we'll save it for the show.
We'll ask the real.
Save it for the show. I think I told somebody. I don't know. It's like 9 minutes or something. It's worth the wait. Whatever it is. Doesn't matter.
I guess it depends who's pouring it and how many are in front of you.
Yes, right.
Definitely.
And if they forgot about it, does happen.
I'm like, we do have other beers, right? Yeah, like is that what you tell people? There's other beers to choose from.
Do you like a Doppelbock, perhaps?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very much so, yes.
Oh, man. Thing of beauty.
You went too fast, Brandon.
I know. I'm not making a Ramos Gin Fizz. This is a Slipperos.
I love those.
I do, too.
It's like one of my favorite
I'm giving
drinks of
myself
all time.
tennis elbow making those drinks because I mean, it's 3 to 5 minutes of shaking. Like, you do it for real.
Yeah.
You want to get those 3 fingers, 4 fingers, and got to go for it. Well, great. We have something in common already. Awesome.
Hey.
All right. Let's do this. Let's nuke this. Let's go. And we're off. Hello and welcome to the Done, Abel and Brandon for the gag.
Oh, why didn't I see that in person? Damn it!
I was thinking, how on earth did he get the eyeliner on in the 13 seconds of our theme song? Well done, Abel. Well done, buddy. Tonight we are joined by the illustrious Bierstadt Lagerhaus and Ashleigh. Please introduce yourself to our public and tell us your role at Bierstadt Lager.
Yeah, first of all, thank you guys so much for having me on. You know, something to look forward to for sure. I am the co-owner and head brewer at Bierstadt Lagerhaus in Denver, Colorado. So pretty much do it all, I guess. Except for bartend. I'm not real good at that.
Well, and, I think it's okay. You do enough for your business. We have to ask you the most beer podcast question of all time, which is, what is the beer that sparked your love of craft and started you on your journey?
It's not a direct answer. I don't feel like for that. I did grow up in Colorado, and I think honestly, my generation, I'm 35. I'm one of the first generations where my parents could drink craft, you know what I mean? Like we were second generation craft basically. And so, they were at Old Chicago drinking Fat Tire, so that's what I remember about craft beer. But I would say the beer that kind of got me into craft beer was actually, I went to college in Asheville, North Carolina. So there used to be this little brew pub there called the Brewing View, and it was $2 movie tickets, like these old ass movies with like these horrible seats that like barely like held people, and pizza, and you just kind of got started drinking, actual craft beer there. And I didn't really know what that was necessarily, but I knew it was better than like the bathtubs of Busch Light, which I was drinking usually always. Other than that, and Asheville has an amazing craft beer scene. So I don't know there was directly one, but I knew about it before, there wasn't just Bud Light, Busch Light, etc. It was something that we knew about all the time.
That's awesome.
I just want to say how I love how you related it to a bathtub full of beer. So that's awesome.
So many bathtubs of beer.
That's my girl. That's my girl.
This shirt is from Asheville. you would think it was from the one that's right up the coast from me, but no, I flew all the way out there to get it. It was just a terrific tour, and I love Asheville's beer scene. Just had a blast out there. A lot of aspects that reminded me of San Diego, and a little bit of Denver as well. It seems like a good beer town has a lot of things in common.
I'd agree.
I love that too.
Pretty. I'm like, pretty.
Yeah, yes, indeed. So let's talk about beer number one.
Yeah.
For those of us in San Diego, the most Instagrammed beer of GABF every year, without question, the Slow Pour Pils. So why don't you kind of break down this beer for us? And I'm going to show everyone mine.
Cool. Oh, where is it? There it is. Fancy.
It's much harder to get your own beer on camera than you think.
Yeah, I would agree. Probably. I'm drinking Hellas at the moment, but Slow Pour Pils. I got my Pils glass here. That is a really, it's a beer that's been a long time coming, honestly, in our careers. Bill, my extra special man friend and my business partner, has been making some version of that, beer recipe. We just got married in January. I'm still not,
congrats.
not really good at that.
Congratulations. At the husband thing?
Yeah, we've been together for like 8 years, so.
The first time that he said wife, did you look at him like, who are you talking about?
He catches me sometimes. He's not here right now. So. Sometimes, I'll just say it. But I like to tease him a little bit. Anyways, so, the Slow Pour Pils, the recipe for it has been kind of in the works for 15 years probably. And the idea of like pouring it slowly came basically because that's the way we like to drink beer. I mean, if you go to Europe, that's how you get the beer. Like it's not something special necessarily. Like the thing I love about the United States is the ability to get any different kind of amazing beers made by local producers. Here we have Hogshead and making English beer. We have Cannonball Creek and Comrade making super amazing hoppy beer. Like you can get anything you want to, but a lot of times it gets served in like a shitline shoe. Like so. We wanted to like actively, go out there. Part of our inspiration was to actively try to change beer culture and the way beer is presented. So this beer is a direct reason for that. And it's the way I like to drink my beer. I didn't understand at the bar why I would, serve it differently to my customers than I like to drink it. If I was going to have my bartenders pour it like that for me, why wouldn't I want my consumers to experience it the same way that I like to experience it? And there's some reasons for it. Some of those reasons are to dissipate the carbonation. It's a very heavily carbonated beer. I think it really brings out some of the dusty hop character. Also building that foam and the way it's presented is, it is picture worthy and it's not a gimmick. It is a reason why we do it that way. And it gets served in that, perfect little small 0.3 glass because it should maintain temperature from top to bottom. And this glass is kind of like our glass now, I guess.
It is. And we've said on the show before, if you didn't go to Bierstadt when you were at JBF and take a picture, did you really even go to Denver? I mean,
I love that, by the way. It makes me so happy.
I mean, honestly, though, it's like, did you get your picture already? No, did you go yet? Well, you better go. I mean, you better post that or else you didn't go.
Fair enough.
Who do we lose? Oh, we lost Brandon. And that's the fun of live. He'll be back in a minute. Yes, indeed. So how did you get your start in your professional career?
Yeah, so I've got I grew up here in Denver, actually, like in Aurora, which we don't like to talk about too much because it's my dad still lives down there. Let's just say they don't share some of my politics and things. But basically in Denver, I went to school in Asheville, North Carolina, played Division I soccer there. I got my degree in pure mathematics. And I've always just kind of been like a sciencey, mathy nerd. Plus, I always needed a little bit of, physical activity to make it all come together. I could never do just one or the other.
Yeah.
So after college, I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I had to have pretty big surgery on my ankle, and it kind of gave me a little time to think about what I wanted to do. I coached for a little while, college soccer, and then I just decided that's not what I want to do. Talking to 15-year-old girls on the phone, recruiting them is not what I would call a great Saturday night, missing every holiday and everything and getting paid nothing.
Yeah.
So
I was really bad at that too.
Still get paid nothing. you know.
Yeah.
But I moved back to Denver and just started homebrewing and fell in love with it, and kind of started volunteering at a brewery, and they took me on, and I was about 10 years ago now, so yeah, had a little career list.
Right on.
What brewery was that?
Dried Off Brewing Company down in Aurora.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, so that's right. I started working at the homebrew shop, tasting all the homebrews is amazing. Gives you a really good palate after that.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
you
so
got
I-
some pretty bad ones.
You got to tell people what's wrong with, and kind of
course.
ignore the obvious flaws. Like oxidation is always going to be a huge flaw, with a home brewer, or estery character is going to be a huge problem in fusels because of just the way they ferment and things like that. So you have to kind of pick past that and actually give real feedback. So I think it was a valuable experience. I'm glad I don't have to do it anymore, but yeah.
Yes, I have heard from most people that ended up working at homebrew stores that when they moved on, this is the aspect that they don't miss, is having to be honest with people about the quality of their homebrew. And as someone that did it for a long time too, bringing my homebrew to every brewer I ever met, I am really thankful at how adept they were at breaking my heart without actually breaking my heart, and doing it in a constructive way with like, oh, I would have approached it this way instead of saying, damn, that tastes like shit. So
They didn't
Thank
No,
you,
see,
man.
I love cream corn, so I love that beer, Brian. But everybody's not into.
Bring
cream
on the
corn.
butter. Bring it on.
Yeah.
That's the one I have a hard. That's my Achilles
that your-
heel is diacetyl. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
For me, it's oxidation. I can taste it in very low quantities, and it
I
drives
thought you
me
said you
crazy.
liked wet cardboard though.
That's sarcasm. But I know it's hard.
I have to say, having a palate for detecting diacetyl is so important, especially in the types of beers that you're making. So it must come in extremely handy. And how do you all treat QC with these types of beers where you can't hide flaws? In a lot of the beers that you're making?
Part of that is I just don't like to work with anybody. It's just kills me. I'm really bad. I don't like to manage people and stuff. I've always, when we opened this brewery, it was really important to Bill and me to do it all ourselves. I never understood why some people open a brewery and the first thing they do is give up the thing that they love most. I'd rather have like a life assistant. Like I need somebody to like take care of everything else. Like I'm good. Keep me in the brew house. Like I'll put my headphones on, listen to podcasts, listen to some music and just like jam and do it all alone. I think it also helps that we really only make 3 beers all year round: Pils, Dunkel, slow pour Pils, Dunkel, and Helles. And we make beer in really large quantities. So when we make a batch of beer, it's 90 barrels of it. So I think it helps with like consistency from that perspective. You're not making a lot of small batches. We do triple 30s basically. And so that helps with consistency too. If you don't get one quite right, you have 2 other tries to kind of hone in on what your numbers that you're trying to do. So you can always kind of fix little things here and there. And I think that's part of it. And, tasting the beer all the time. That's, I try to do a lot more of that.
That's, I'm sure, the hard part of your job, right?
It's so hard, yeah.
Quality control. You get it.
Yeah, quality control. Exactly.
Although it is in the morning when you're hungover and you gotta like
Hair of the dog,
transfer a
girl.
beer.
Hair of the dog. Let's go.
Hey, we say brewers get hangovers like skateboarders get skin knees. If you can't deal with it, you shouldn't do it.
Do it. Yeah. It's
That's a really good one.
part of the job. Part of the job, right? Part of the job.
And how many folks do you have employee-wise over at Bierstadt?
So we have a full kitchen. Pre-COVID, we had 18, 19 employees, I think, something like that. In the brewery, I have just a kind of assistant. He mostly just does cleaning kegs and filling kegs. Other than that, in the brewery, it's just Bill and myself, and that's it.
Wow.
That's it.
Wow.
Just like you want it, right?
Really
Just like you
impressive.
want
Like I want it, and sometimes I can't even stand myself. So
I'm going to give myself a day off today. I can't stand it. Go home.
I'm going home without pay.
Kicked myself out. I did today, basically.
Yeah.
So how did you get from a small neighborhood brewery to owning your own? How did you start Bierstadt?
Yeah. I can't really work. Not only do I don't want anybody working for me, I can't really work for anybody. There's also that.
So be your own boss. Be your own boss.
I like
There
being
you
your own
go.
boss. I don't like
Know
people
yourself.
But you can't work with yourself too. Okay,
I
wait.
know it's really complex. I'm having a whole existential crisis over here.
You just keep pumping out beer, girl. That's all you got to do.
That's good. I got one job. I can do that. So I started Dry Dock, and Bill, my partner, he actually went to go start another brewery while we were at Dry Dock. He was the head brewer there, and from there, he got to open up a brewery that I don't really like to talk about, but it was pretty influential in how we do things. He said, "You're the best brewer I've ever trained. Will you come with me and be the lead brewer, the head brewer? Will you come do this with me?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely. This is the kind of beer I want to make. I want to make lager. I want to make German styles," and that's what we made. And then we kind of unceremoniously got pushed out of there, as business partnerships sometimes go. He kind of lost his own brewery, and I lost my job on December 23rd at 10 p.m. after working a 12-hour shift.
Merry Christmas.
So after we knew, and as it was ending there, we knew the end was coming, and we kind of decided that we were going to have to do it for ourselves and never be in a position where somebody else can take it from you. So we started working on our business plan right then. We left that place with literally nothing. I borrowed money from my dad. I was on unemployment. We went to Germany with nothing on my credit card to look for brew houses because that's what we were going to do. So we did that. He got a small settlement from the brewery he owned, very small, but we took all of that money and put a down payment on one of the brew houses that we saw. And this was April of 2014, with no way to pay off the rest of it. So we kind of put all of our eggs in one basket.
Wow.
That's confidence, girl. That's confidence.
I don't know, man. Sometimes it's like, really
that's what you call it. That's what you call chingona, right? That's what you call chingona. That's it.
So we put a down payment on it with no way of really knowing what was going to happen. We're like, well, this is how we're going to be able to get investors, is if we have this brew house, we have this idea, and we have the reputation that we do in order to do this. And so we got hooked up with this guy named Chris Rippey. He's my other business partner. He used to own a restaurant called the Rack House, which was attached to Straight Hands, the distillery. And he kind of got pushed out by Proximo, kind of the evil empire. And we decided that we could kind of put this thing together, and we were able to raise some money. He had money from his Proximo deal, and we took out an SBA loan with that down payment and found a building and everything. So it somehow worked out.
Nice.
Well, you all had a great stellar reputation from where you were coming from, the place that we're not going to talk about. But
perfect.
But thumbs up to y'all. I can see why people would believe in you.
So we have a very important question from the audience, and I say that with all the sarcasm I can muster.
BB!
What's up, Mike?
The BB Society.
So we all know this guy too. Did you do a collab, and he's wants to get in line for the collab?
Hey, you just gotta find me next time I'm there. Let's chit chat, and if it sounds cool, then we'll totally do it. I like collabs to be like really organic, so I like to like sit down and I don't like the idea of like people. I think a lot of times now collab up, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And they always just do it just to put some dope ass graphics on a label. And I've only done collabs with like 10 or 12 different breweries since we've been open, because I want to hang out with you all day. Like, do I want to hang out with you? Do I respect the beer you make? And do we have something in common? Because it's not going to be fun unless
What a
We can
concept.
joke around. I know Mike here and there, but I would like, let's sit down, Mike. Let's
But it's
chat.
BB. You're not collabing up. You're going down, girl. No, I'm just
Yeah, he's collabing.
I love you. I love you,
No,
BB. I love you.
we know each other, so we just gotta talk about it and see what fits and see what would be fun to do, and that's like how I like to do it.
Yeah.
And so now we know the true motivation. He just wants the flag.
Bring it and we'll hang it.
That's awesome.
Bring it and we'll hang it. Except for Rippy, my business partner, Rippy, he'll take forever to hang it. So yeah,
That's okay.
it might
You
be
gotta
another
start
year.
somewhere.
Yeah.
So I'm only aware of one time that your beer was ever available here in San Diego, which was at Bagby, our beloved Bagby. Do you know of any other? Nice.
Hey.
Has there ever been other chances, and are there any coming in the future? Is there any chance that some's coming out for Beer Week?
There could be. I am licensed in California, so
Nice.
I keep paying my license fee there, which is cool. So it's a possibility if somebody wanted to ask us to be on tap somewhere or something, I'm happy to send beer. I like it.
Yeah.
I've always kept it as kind of not a safety valve, but I know enough people there, and then like with the Bagbies and stuff like that. We had it on in. We had it on at somewhere. I can't remember where. Oh, we had it on Urban Roots.
Oh.
Okay,
year and a half
Sacramento.
ago.
Sacramento.
Yeah.
And then I had it on at Alvarado Street, I think, for one of their events,
Cool.
and then
So you're
also
getting closer.
You're getting closer to
Rare Barrel, maybe. Yeah, Rare Barrel as well. We had beer on for a minute. So yeah, I'm down. I'm totally down to do it. So
Okay.
Somebody reach out.
I'm like, I can make this happen. We have to make this happen. We know enough bar
A
owners.
new
to at least
indie
get
beer show
somebody.
initiative.
Mhm.
Yes.
Official
Bring
initiative
Bierstadt
for
to San Diego.
2021.
Yes.
On it. On it.
Get Bierstadt here. Lovely.
Yeah.
Here's that.
That brings us to our top three. And in honor of our guest, we decided to do our top three beer things that we love about Denver. Anything involving beer and all of our experiences there. They have to me, my second favorite beer city I've ever been to, other than our own. I mean, I can't not judge San Diego the best, but it's okay. So let's start with Brendan. We'll go counterclockwise. Number three for you, sir.
I love that there are so many great places around Coors Field
Oh,
Yeah.
grab great beers before the game because I love baseball, and
Yeah.
I also love the low price of entry to go watch a Rockies game spontaneously because you know what's happening when somebody at the bar or the brewery you're at tells you, oh yeah, such and such is in town, or like I found out the Padres are in town one time like an hour before the game. Falling Rock, go to the game. After the game, hit a couple breweries, and I just had a time of my life. That was like $10 to get in. It was crazy, but I just love how that area has just keeps on popping up different things, and not just for people who want to go on the roof and have like a rager party, but if people who actually want to like enjoy some really great beer and that beer community, it's really fun. So I like that. Beer and baseball together, awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. I sign off on that. All right, Estella, number three.
For me, it is how welcoming all the breweries are for JBF. Literally, I feel like everybody just rolls out the red carpet for everybody that's a guest when you're there for JBF. And I feel so welcomed every time we walk in anywhere. And everybody's just talking to everybody. And it's just such a cool city to go to. And I've been there for non-JBF. Just like I went for a football game, I went for a baseball game, but I literally flew in for the game and then for the game. Like that was it. And then I was out. So for me, it's definitely the hospitality at all the breweries during JBF. So yeah.
That's a great number three too. Very friendly beer place to hang out for San Diego, at least for San Diego beer people.
Yeah.
And we've often said this, if you want to hang out with San Diego beer people, go to Denver during GABF, and you'll be able to hang out with more people there than we get to even here during the normal year.
Go to the Rhino District, you'll run into 20 people that
Go to Bierstadt.
Yeah, go to Bierstadt.
Come to our place.
Yeah.
Literally like a dozen at least people. I met people I hadn't even met out in San Diego, like two routes. I finally met Kevin in person at Bierstadt. I'm like, oh yeah, dude, when we get back home, we should connect. Now we're friends.
Yeah.
It's great.
And we've all said when you're out there, that's when you actually get to hang out with everybody, because here everybody's working, everybody's doing their thing, but over there everybody just goes to they're at the beer festival, award ceremony, all that, but in the evenings you're just hanging out with people, and you're just like, I can actually just hang out with other people in beer, which is awesome. So yeah. Abel, Senor, wait.
So so mine's going to be just simple from the get-go. So this used to be the beginning, and now it's at every airport, but Denver used to be the first airport I would go to get craft beer. Like you go, all the other airports didn't have craft beer at the time, but Denver did. And then so every time I would fly in, that was like always the first thing. I would go hit up some type of tap room somewhere around there, have some beers, and then I take that 30 to 40 minute drive out of Denver to get out of the airport to get to Denver. So
Oh, Abel, I know a much quicker way sometimes.
So yeah, that used to be my number 3. But again, that's 3. I got better ones.
That's good. That's a good start.
What's up with that airport being so far away, man?
You guys should talk, man.
I love that demon horse too. The demon horse.
Oh, we call him Lucifer.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that name, Lucifer.
You know he killed the guy who made him, right?
Yeah, I heard about that. There's like a lot of like weird stories about that airport. Like I hear about the tents with the points. There's like something in there or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Just look it up.
That's a whole different podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm obsessed. I'm absolutely.
Yeah, girl, we need to talk.
And now for a good number 3 from somebody who should know. Completely dwarf us.
Yeah, this will be the correct number 3. Usually Brian tends to think he has the correct number 3 or number 2 or number 1, but today it's you. Yeah.
So it's what I love about Denver.
Yeah. Beer things about Denver.
Beer things about Denver.
Yeah.
I love that you can drink beer outside like pretty much 8 months out of the year. Like we have some of the best weather. Like it is dry, like at night, a little sweatshirt. Like even right now, you could get a 80-degree day in the middle of February and there's no bugs. And I love that you can be outside and just kind of like take in, all the mountain air, all the people. Yeah. Like I love that. I love that you can drink beer outside a lot.
Yeah.
That is awesome. And I agree. There's very few places that have the outdoor atmosphere that the amount of days you can drink outside that would surpass our city. But you guys, for what we think,
you guys have it great there too. So.
Yeah, well, we always think that Denver's like under 3 feet of snow all the time because of South Park, really. But really, you guys have your snow comes and goes rapidly, and you have a lot more. Even though it might be cold, it's still comfortable outside.
Even then, man, even when it's 45 degrees here, if there's no wind or anything, you can sit outside and drink a beer. It doesn't seem like it, but it's so dry. There's no humidity or anything.
I would love it. My wife would be in 4 parkas.
I would. There fire pits I can be sitting inside in. Like I can't do that. I can't do
45.
that.
That's 30 degrees too cold.
Yeah.
No, you California folk, you're spoiled.
We are.
Yeah, totally.
I'm wearing socks right now because it's just so chilly at like 70 degrees. Denver has got to be like the North Face's most highest selling market, because every time I'm walking around, it seems like everybody's just so outdoors-ish. They're all dressed for anything. Like they could just, you know what? We're going down the 16th Street Mall, but we could end up at a mountain in the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And just ready to hike and everything, like backpacks and all that stuff. It's just like almost a prerequisite to be like an outdoors person, which is pretty cool. And it is always ready for an adventure. It feels like.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, with beer. For me, my number 3 is this rad little restaurant that focuses on sours, funky mixed fermentations, and they make amazing sausages. It's Good Zur.
I love that place.
So for us San Diego people, it's like a combination of Tiger and a Mikkeller beer bar.
Why are you gonna say Tiger, dude?
R.I.P. But
we always have to bring up some R.I.P. once a show.
It's not on purpose. It's just what I love. But anyways, Goedzur, Goedzur, amazing place to hang out. And every time I go to Denver, I go there. Period.
Have you ever had a butter flight there?
I have not. What?
Ooh.
No, it's no joke. It is decadent and everything. There's like 4 different butters, like a cave age butter, a butterfly.
I will on the list.
Okay.
On the list.
And you can get pills there. Me and my other female lady brewer friends, we try to meet once a month. And I think last time we were there, we drank like 48 pills between the 4 of us.
Yes.
All right.
Sounds like a group I need to hang out with.
Yeah,
real quick.
Come down.
Not to go too off script, but I'd love to know kind of like what the female brewer scene is like in Denver.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What do you guys got going on?
That we just kind of to hang out. We just know each other. It's not like a thing. It's just
is there a good
Is it a good community? Like a pretty large community?
You know, there's some people I don't know, some people I do. There's just a couple that, you know, we tend to try to get together once in a while because we're friends, you know.
Yeah.
And we all happen to make beer, kind of.
Yeah.
That's not like a thing, but we try to like get together and you know, one other one is an owner as well, owner and brewer.
All right.
We actually all got matching tattoos. So
yeah, that's another thing you do during GABS.
Yeah, which is a T-Rex. I wonder if I can see it.
Nice.
There it is. Wait, there it is.
T-Rex.
Nice.
Yes.
Like a barley leaf.
Nice.
There we go.
There you go.
Yes.
Lovely. Well
Love
done.
it.
So,
I've never felt so good about asking a question in my entire life.
It was worth it just for the tattoo. Absolutely.
Yeah, for the tattoo alone, man. Come
always
on.
do sober what you said you do drunk. That's a
That's
thing
a
I
good
try to
motto.
live by. So
That's
when
a
we
good
got
motto.
drunk, we were like, let's get tattoos. So when we were sober, we had to.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Well, that's really impressive that you did it sober.
Yeah,
I
we
love the
did.
follow through. Very good. All right.
Nice.
Women,
Nice.
you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we have to drink the other beer.
Oh, bummer.
And I know it's really difficult.
Damn
So
My favorite, I think, that I've had.
it's the Dunkle. So for those that may not know, why don't you kind of explain the difference between a Dunkle and the Pils?
Yeah, so Dunkel just means dark. It is a malty beer. It is majority Munich malt, whereas the Pils is majority Pils malt. Pils is much more snappy and hoppy and bitter. This one's a lot more rich and malty, but I don't think that it's heavy. A lot of people will look at the color and automatically think that it's, you know, a heavy beer or whatever. But I think Dunkel really is at its core very dry, like light toffee, dark chocolate, not acrid, not roasty, and not too sweet. You should be able to still drink. You know, I think the thing about German style beer in general is the drinkability of it. So you should, any one of the beers that we have, you should be able to drink 2 or 3 of them. Like that one thing is in mind with every style that we make. I don't drink a lot of Dunkel, weirdly, even though every time I drink it, I'm like, damn, it's pretty good, actually.
Yes, very good.
I'm a pale lager guy, so, you know.
Perfect time of year for it, too. It's
Mm-hmm.
got a great fruitiness to it that I really enjoy. And it's almost got like a smokiness that's not a smokiness. I can't really describe it, but that's kind of how the malt presents to me. It goes up to the edge of that, but there's none of that cinder. It's just, that's the character that's there. It's like you're saying. It's
that
not
Munich
really
malt is
roasty,
very toasty, you know, like toasted.
Very good.
Right.
Thanks.
Drinkability is about 11.5.
Yeah.
You should really drink more of this, Ashleigh.
Yeah, I know. I should.
I could drink a lot of these while sitting in a fire pit. Honestly, like I could.
Yeah.
But not in Denver, though. Not the fire pit in Denver.
Not unless it's raging.
Yes. And she's in the middle of the fire pit just to survive.
I'm in the middle.
The Arctic
Fires around
45
me.
degrees. So you mentioned earlier that you went to Germany and you found a brew house and you put a deposit on it that when you couldn't afford the rest. So I've heard on another show that it was like a pretty classic system in Germany. So kind of break us down what that was and what you had to do to get it here.
It was fun. We had done it kind of once before, imported a brew house from Germany. So this one is made in 1932. It came from a town called Almendorf, which is about 18 kilometers southwest of Nuremberg. It's all copper, about 35 barrels or so, roughly. We do everything in hectoliters, but even then, I don't brew to like a volume. We brew to a specific like starting sugar content. So you get about 35-ish barrels or so out of it. It is a 2-vessel system. It sits on 2 different like platforms. So Bill and I went to Germany in April of 2014, found this brew house. We looked at a bunch of different ones. We drove all over Germany, looking at breweries, looking at brew houses. Some of them really good, some of them really in bad shape. This one was in great shape, and they were trying to get a new brew house. So it also made a lot of sense because a lot of these places, when you take a brew house from them, unfortunately, a lot of them are closing, which is sad to hear. But they want you to pay all these expenses to basically put the building back as it once was when it was built in like the 1700s, which can be prohibitive, cost prohibitive, of course. So they were actually planning on putting a new brew house in, so we kind of got to split that cost as well. I mean, the price of the brew house wasn't that much, kind of the price of scrap copper, honestly. But then we had to pay somebody to disassemble it there. I went back in September of 2014 with my friend Betty, who was born in Hamburg, speaks fluent German. And basically, we just had to crawl all over it and take a bunch of pictures and make ourselves a cut sheet because there's not a cut sheet on something like that. And then,
you have the original. You have the plans from the 30s.
Yeah, not really. And so we kind of had to design like the platforms and everything before it was even there because of contractors and stuff like that. And then it just kind of showed up in a shipping container in all its parts. And then I just hoped I had a picture that corresponded to whatever that pipe was or however that was situated or which way that was facing or, we basically had to take it apart, dismantle it with just pictures and things like that. So it showed up a few months later and then putting it together, of course, was difficult. We used a company called Dairy Engineering. They were helpful trying to get some of these motors and things like that to work as they're supposed to. It leaks a little bit, but I like the character of it. It's copper, which is really good for lager beer, kind of helps reduce the sulfur compounds. And it's really awesome. It's a piece of history. They don't make things like that anymore for real. And they could have scrapped it for during the war, during World War II. Yeah. For bullets and stuff like that. So the fact that it survived that is pretty amazing.
Most breweries did not survive in Europe. The war took every piece of metal. It's just crazy the effort that was. So, do you think you spent more time or more money in importing and reassembly than you did paying for the brewery in Germany?
Yeah,
is it
absolutely.
Kind of even? Oh, so
absolutely. The brew house is probably $60,000 or so. Right now it'd be way cheaper because the euro is worth a lot more back then. It was like the exchange rate was like 136 when we got it, and now it's like 112. So that could have saved us a bunch of money. But shipping it was about $40K, and to take it apart was like 20 there, and then to reassemble it here. But all said and done, for a brew house of its capabilities and things like that, I don't know that I could get one made for any cheaper than that, and would be less cool.
Super less cool.
Yeah.
And
just
have
put
no
some flex
history.
tape on it. Flex tape. That way
You
it
should
doesn't
know
leak
how much
anymore.
Flex Seal is there. You're gonna give me nightmares of standing up on. No, seriously. So we're in a collab with one of my idols, Eric Toff from Schonraumer, who's a brewer in Germany. And he's there doing a collab with us for the 175th anniversary of the Tettnanger hop thing. And we had gotten a couple things fixed, and there was a spot on the brew house, like underneath it, where like copper was welded to stainless. And when they fixed something else, because that's how it always happens, this part kind of started to come loose, and it just started to spray wort everywhere. And like,
is that a problem?
This guy was like amazing. He's up on the table, like Flex sealing the pipe, and he's like, same shit, different country, you know. So yeah, there's definitely some Flex seal up in that.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, but
That's why that lager's so good. It's that flex seal.
Yeah.
That's what makes it
All the
craft beer.
flex seal in it. All the flex seal in it. Yeah.
on the next infomercial, he's just slapping it on the side of a fermenter. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So also on the same show that I was mentioning, that I heard the story about your Germany, or your brew house from Germany. You said that you feel sometimes that you're more known outside of Denver than you are around the corner from your brewery. So what's kind of behind that sentiment?
So I have a good friend named Jared. He's a brewer in Sacramento, and he's like wants to get shirts made that say nationally known, locally ignored. I mean, it's amazing. Like, I mean, part of it is because of GABF and everything, but it's really amazing. I think that people struggle sometimes to realize that something great is in their backyard, especially something that maybe they don't understand. And we don't make, we don't have can releases and can drops and all these other things. Like, we're just trying to be consistently really good, like try to be consistently as perfect as we can be. And I think that's lost on some people sometimes. Locally, but I think we're your brewer's favorite brewery.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so I think that like helps us be known much wider than just in here. Like as brewers tell people where to go, they sit at a bar in San Diego and they're like, "Hey, I'm headed out to Denver. Like, where should I go?" And like they're like, "You got to go here." And I don't think that happens necessarily in our own neck of the woods.
I'm pretty sure all of us have done that, to tell you the truth.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Going to Denver, we said, like, if they ask us, we're like, "Oh, you got to go to Bierstadt, of course."
You have to. I mean, that's just it.
Yeah, it's just a thing.
Do you think it's just that there's so many options in Denver Metro, and then you're just maybe just a little bit out of the very epicenter of all that, and people just they people tend to get lazy and say, "Well, there's like 12 breweries here, and I'm looking for an IPA. I can't respect a Helles or a really well-made Dunkel."
Yeah.
Is it more of that happening, or what?
I think some of it is honestly just a little baffling. People fell in love with 3 letters IPA, and so when somebody doesn't offer that, I think it kind of confuses people a little bit, and they don't know to look further, that there is more things. I mean, that's the biggest travesty of things like a milkshake IPA is it's not IPA.
There's a lot of travesties in the milkshake IPA.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest ones is basically just what it's called. It's not IPA. So I think that's some of it. There's 15 breweries around us. I always say that we don't have to be the place you spend all day at. You just have to, if you're going to come down to our area, at least have one of your 3 places you go to has to be us. It doesn't really matter what the other 2 are. So we kind of try to go about it from that angle. But it's getting better and better. But it definitely is kind of funny sometimes when people are like, "Oh, that place? Oh, that's around the corner from me." Like I've seen it on the line. People like give something like, "Oh, this Pils is amazing," and somebody goes, "Really? I live down the street." I'm like,
"You've never been a lot of residential right there." I would have thought at least you'd had them be the regulars to say like, I know what's going on. I'm not going to tell anybody, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know, man, but it's better. It's getting better.
Well,
good,
I mean,
good.
Slow pour Pils is definitely everyone's favorite brewer's favorite beer. I mean, you said it a little bit earlier, but it's really true. So speaking of your local fans, what do you hope the average visitor to Bierstadt Lagerhaus walks away feeling, thinking? What's the Bierstadt Lagerhaus experience you want them to feel?
It's a weird one. I want them to be not underwhelmed, but I want them to not think about it too much. I think of our beer as a medium for conversation, a medium, and not because the beer is the conversation, but a medium for, you can drink a few of them. It's so good and so subtle that you stop thinking about it. You start focusing on the important things, like whatever promotion or, catching up with friends. Like I really have that envision. Like when you think about going to Europe or to Germany, especially in the beer gardens, when everybody's drinking the same beer, 6,000 of you and your closest friends, and they're not talking about the beer. The beer is just there as part of the experience. It isn't the experience. And I find a lot of frustration with people making the beer be the entertainment. And I don't feel that way about it. I talk about beer all the time. Of course, I'm a brewer and I love it. And I love talking to you guys and I love discussing beers. But I also can't find anything more boring than a bunch of dudes sitting at a table being like, is that mosaic? Like, what? 3 caps on uncapped. Like, I can't find anything more boring than that.
Oh man, she must be talking about Paul Segura.
Oh my God!
I know there's Sabro in here, but I don't really taste the coconut. So how much Sabro did they really use?
Exactly.
Actually, I swear you and I are like best friends because
fantastic. I can't wait to have you out here then.
Is that raisins? The smell? No.
So I have to ask, given the fact that I couldn't agree more. I love that it brings people together. I think that's great. It's like maybe talk about the beer for a couple minutes, but then like get back to your friends. But
yeah,
what do you feel about the fact that lagers have largely been rediscovered and finally appreciated?
Yeah.
It seems nationwide to me, because we have seen that in the Midwest for a long time because of the migration patterns of people coming into this country and the traditions there. But here in California, at least, lagers finally got popular about 3 to 4 years ago again.
It's all those influencers.
But do you find that people finally appreciating lagers again makes it so you're looking for a safe option where you're like, this is a quality made beer. I don't need to think about it. I will order 4 of these, and that's my night. I'm not looking for the next milkshake, special release, hop type, double.
But do you have a hazy? But do you have a hazy?
Exactly. And when's your hazy Pilsner coming out?
Yeah.
He's got to report about it.
I don't even like color beer that much. So I think like it's good and bad. I think it's good because I prefer to drink those styles of beer. I like being able to go somewhere and get a low alcohol, kind of to style lager. The bad though, I think, is unfortunately, and I hate the word craft. I've never been really a big fan of like that kind of moniker. But I think also when people are trying to like do it too fast, too quickly, too shortcutty, like it's something different. It takes a different skill set. And I can't tell you when people have come up to me and been like, oh, I love your beer. Tell me about it. And I'll, give them, some tips and pointers and stuff like that. Like, okay, so how do I do that if I've only got 28 days? And I'm like, then you missed the point of like what I do and how I feel about lager in general. And so I think more really good examples of it, more like 2-style, bright. I really like, call it a color beer. It's fine if it's a little hazy, but when it's downright miso soup or there's yeast selling glass, like I don't like that, I want a finished beer. I want a finished beer when it comes down to it. So I'm really happy about it. And I'm also like, I want people to, go at it with the same enthusiasm they do some of the other things they do.
Yeah. I can't agree more. And I think, we often see this like full circle of in craft beer when you start off with air quotes simpler styles like what we're drinking tonight, and then you end up in this weird Instagram land of milkshake lactose with orange vanilla syrup type of beers that if you don't refrigerate the day you buy, they might turn into a weapon. And then you kind of cross that line and you come right back to what got you interested in beer in the first place, which was an exceptional use of 4 or 5 ingredients. Mm-hmm. And I applaud your dedication to mastering your craft and staying within a construct. I mean, we often see breweries that are willing to do anything it takes to sell a beer. And for whatever, whether that's intellectual property theft and calling your name Wario instead of Mario or whatever, we've seen every gimmick there is. With early on, 20 years ago, the type of gimmicks we see now, people wouldn't have even perceived as something that should be in craft beer. And so, it's morphed, and every business has the right to do whatever they want to try to sell a beer.
Absolutely.
But when
Or
you
survive.
when you go to those extremes, sometimes you have to realize you're living in an extreme world, and both the reaction and the retraction is extreme. So you'll see these fads go real big, real quick, and then
Once you've decided to follow a fad, you're already way too late to the party.
Yeah,
That's how I feel about it. I always, Bill says this a lot, which is, what if everybody's running towards it? Why don't you turn around and look at what they're running from? Wait a minute, if everybody's running this way, like maybe it's worthwhile to turn around and see that that's not maybe the thing to do. Like, because you got to just get
unless
swept
it's
up in
me,
it.
because if I'm running, it's explosives or a bear or something really bad. If I'm running, go with me.
Go
I
with
don't
you
run.
there.
I'm a big man. If I start moving fast, there's a reason, and it's not nice. It's bad.
Can you outrun a bear, Brian?
No. But I don't
Curious. That's all. Just curious.
I don't have to outrun a bear, Abel. I just have to outrun you. So
Yeah, we'll have that on another show.
no, nobody needs to see that.
Back when we all get together, the races.
The Bear Olympics.
There's
The
no
Bear
horses
Olympics.
involved.
No.
I'll shoot the gun,
Just a bear.
guys. I'm not running nowhere.
That's horrible.
Waving flags.
Yeah.
Go.
Let's jump into number 2, and I'll go first. I never go first, apparently.
Yeah,
For my number 2, it's the entire Rhino District where your brewery is. Just
Second that.
the feeling of the Rhino District is very similar to North Park here in San Diego. A little newer, but very similar, with bar, restaurant, cool curio place, bar, restaurant, brewery. That vibe is something. I live in the middle of one of those type of districts here in San Diego, and it's just what I'm all about when I'm visiting another city. For me, the fun is is local cuisine and, of course, local beer. So thank you, Denver, for building Shatipa Town, if you watch South Park. But let's move on to a real expert that has the real answer.
Sorry, dog.
Nice guard dog, though. That's awesome.
I have
I think we all
170
have
pound
dogs.
Irish Wolfhound, so
I was gonna say that is not a
You
small
can't
It
run
sounded
that
like
either,
a bear.
Brian.
It sounded like a bear.
yeah, he is kind of a bear.
Run,
Rest his
Brian,
head on my
run.
shoulder.
Follow me.
Aw.
Ashleigh, what's your second favorite thing about Denver?
I think I kind of touched on it before. I love that you can get world-class examples of so many styles here without going very far. And I think that's incredible. You go to Hogshead and you can get a cask beer. You go to Westbound and Down, get an amazing barley wine. You can go to Comrade or Cannonball and get, GABF winning, like, amazing IPA. Like, you can pretty much get any style here just with and most of the really good beer bars have all of those beers on tap, which is amazing.
Yeah.
They're not rare. I love that Superpower isn't rare. I can go get it anytime. I love, from Comrade, which won again this year in the American Strong Ale category. And I also love that, like, you go to Hogshead, I can get any cask beer. I can get, dark beer on cask at any time. Like I said, it's not a rarity. You don't have to seek it out. You don't have to wait for it. You can just go there and experience it at any time. I think that's amazing. You can come to our place and get, amazing lagers. So I think Denver really has that going for it.
Absolutely. And I feel that in the short time I've spent there as well. Every single venue I have visited has been very high quality. I've only had a bad experience one place ever, and it had nothing to do with the place. Some asshole was an asshole. So anyways, that's neither here
It
nor
was a bear.
Yeah, it was a bear, and I had
All
to
right,
run,
it was a bear.
and it's shitty. All right,
Hey, boo boo.
fast forward. What you got?
Mine's a little bit outside of Denver, but because I'm a music man, it's going to Red Rocks.
Red Rocks.
Oh, yeah.
And and getting the beer, getting the craft beer, and sitting and watching the view of the mountains and the whatever, everything, and the band's playing. That has always been the best for me.
I
Yeah.
want to do that.
They have a bus, right? They have a bus
yes.
from Denver.
Mm-hmm. I never took it though. I never took it
You
though.
can get drunk on the bus and then sleep on the way home. It's amazing.
Nice. That
Pro
advice right there.
Pro
There we go. And when
We're
concerts
adding
come
that
back,
to our
when
list
concerts
next
come
year,
back,
guys.
I'm doing the bus.
Right on. Rad.
All right, Estelita.
It's like you said, Rhino District. Maybe Abel can remind me of the brewery that we all walked into and just randomly ran into each other 2 years ago. And it was everybody that had won medals.
Oh, Oscar Blues. It was the Oscar Blues in Rhino.
Yeah.
I think that's what it was. It was like the little tap room.
If you say so, friend. I can't remember. I'm like, I don't remember.
Oh, no, that was fun, yeah.
Yeah, but I walked in there and it was like Epic was in there, Groundswell was in there, Kilowatt was in there, Three Punk Ales was there. Like literally everybody was there.
And it wasn't planned either. We all just like, we're all just gonna go have drinks and we're all went our separate ways, and then all of a sudden we all just boom. It was like probably 25 people all from San Diego just hanging out in there.
But yeah, that whole area, like Brian was saying, is just amazing, and it was so much fun. And you can literally just, I'm gonna walk across the street to another bar. Oh, I'm gonna walk across the street to, get some cocktails. I remember there was like really good, amazing cocktail bar there that I was just like, oh man, this is great. And it was just everything was walking distance, just like you said on 30th. And I really enjoyed the area so much.
Yeah, there was that distillery across the street where we started taking shots with 3 Punk.
No, not Iron. Block distilling.
Yeah, I think it was right. We were watching some drunk girl across the street at some burger place, I think Smash Burger or something.
Yeah.
She was like trying to hit on everybody to take her home, and we just sat. We were just like Shake Shack. There you go. And we just sat there watching her, like, oh, look at this girl trying to get somebody to go home with her.
And then promptly we started taking shots. So
and then we started taking shots. Yeah,
that's what you need after a day of drinking beer.
Shots.
It always goes to that.
We had to cleanse the liver from the beer.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
I hope that wasn't. Was that the day before you got on the plane too? Because that's always the worst.
Yes,
it probably was. I think our flight was like 8 o'clock the next morning.
Yeah,
so.
because you guys left Sunday. That was Saturday.
Yeah, it was so funny because I remember we were getting on the plane and there was people there from Pure Project all hung over in the terminal. But Mike, no, it was Mike. Mike Hess and his wife were on the plane, and they're just like totally just hair all over the place with the coffee, like morning. It's like all right, and it's like oh yeah, that's a fun one.
Epic needs to make a triple IPA called like 745 from Denver.
Yes, right.
Or a barley wine.
That's awesome. All right, Mr. Hernandez, number 2 for you.
I really enjoy the food scene. A lot of places that I really enjoy are within that district that we're talking about. I love Euclid Hall and Fresh Craft, and there's just
rest in peace, Euclid Hall.
Yeah, it's not right.
Another one, see, damn it.
But it's easy to find a good and often quick meal as well, which is not the case with that place. But one place that I really like and have. This goes back 12 years to like the first time I ever came to Denver for anything. Biker Jim's.
Yes.
I really love that cart.
You got yourself a gator sausage or something?
So I haven't even been to the brick and the mortar, but we just took the brick and also the mortar. But I got to say that my wife and I, whenever we go to Denver, we make a point to just like hit that little conveyance there on the 16th Street Mall and go right over there and like hope that it was open and just get like caulking of cream cheese on whatever, like reindeer sausage or whatever it might be. But I mean, it's just so satisfying and delicious, especially if there's like a nip in the air and it's a cold day. But I really enjoyed that. Maybe I'm just basic, but let me tell you, it gilds you for anything that you're going to drink after that. It goes well with anything as well. It's just like I just like that. It was just nice to be in on something that like watch all these people coming down from like the high-rise buildings and stuff, and like this is my lunch. Like this would be my lunch too. Okay, this is really good. But I, in general, the food scene, but special place in my heart that maybe it makes me basic, Biker Jim.
Nice.
if eating alligator sausage from a cart on the street makes you basic, then we're on the same team because that is awesome sauce, man.
And there was no bear sausage, so everyone's safe.
Everyone's safe. No one has to run. No one has to run.
Was there pumpkin in it?
No.
Can't be basic if you don't have pumpkin, bro.
Got a point.
Just the spice, no pumpkin. I'm good. Right.
Just the spice. That's awesome. All right, now it's time for the most complicated segment in all of Indie Beer Show history, What We Drank, which is really difficult. We talk about what we had before we joined on the show. Let's start with Abel, who is trying to finish what he drank before the show, I guess.
Finish mine.
All right, sir. What did you have?
It's a sneak preview. It's not out until tomorrow.
Oh, look at this. Angel's Share.
Delicious beer.
Oh man,
Yes.
that's
So good.
But it's a rum barrel version. They've never done a rum until this year, and it's with Cutwater rum barrels.
Whoa, double
Yeah.
local.
So it's being released tomorrow at Lost Abbey on their website. Of course, you got to go to the website and order it only. You can't show up and buy it because they will say no. And then
That's
and
how it works.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, no, it's that's what I've been drinking for actually since 4 o'clock. So
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, still some good progress.
yes, I had to share. I had to share with a roommate.
And is that
All right.
is it in the 12-ish% land?
I think this one was at 11. They said. Let me
Okay.
see where's that. Actually, where are you at?
Oh,
I
it's
don't
session
know.
barley wine. All right.
Yes.
Yeah, doesn't have it on here. So
That's
yeah.
fine. That's great, man. I'm sure that's an amazing beer. Well, I mean, Lost Abbey putting beers in barrel. Breaking news. It turns out okay. So,
But it's pretty. I mean, it's really good, and because it's different, it's always bourbon, and so now they go rum. So it's it's still got that
Sometimes
good
it's
taste.
brandy.
do you get any?
Hey.
Do you get any like tropical sweetness from the rum?
A little bit.
All right.
I get a little bit of that, a little bit of the spiciness. So I think they use some type of spice rum.
Nice. Excellent. All right, Estella, what did you enjoy before jumping on? Ooh, the citrus crush.
one of our
Carl's bad
somewhere.
crush.
A
That's
recent
the G and the A and the B and the S.
a silver
Yeah.
medal from GABF winner.
Yeah. Yep.
Ah,
Yeah.
It's a straight mosaic pale, amazing fucking beer. And other than that, Estella, why?
Because Cesar Torres knows I love it, so he gave it to me.
Breaking
That's
news
why.
again. Cesar Torres.
Yeah. He went. He went to
I've
the.
run into that guy like 3 times this week, and my
Have you?
fridge is full of virgin right now.
Yeah.
I don't
He.
I haven't seen that guy in 5 years, and I bought him a beer the last time I saw him.
You're on the wrong side of the stick, Brandon. I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on here.
Well, he went to the Mujeres meeting on Monday. It was the last meeting of the
nice.
year, the Mujeres Brew Club meeting, and he brought a case of beer. So like
Very
I couldn't
nice.
be more appreciative to that guy, and I love him, and he knows I love this beer. So he's like, "Here, this is for you. This is for you to share with everybody." And I was like, "Oh, cool! I will just take it all. Thank you very much."
That's awesome.
Share.
Yeah. I love some. Come on.
I can share with myself.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are-
One or
you are
2
very-
cans
you
is
are very
sharing.
generous, and that's
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
know that.
All right, Mr. Hernandez.
All right, Caesar. I like Interlock and Trivana. All right, so what I had was a beer that I just voted for Beer of the Week on San Diego Beer News, and that is the barrel-aged rare form Belgian Quad from Amplified Ale Works in
Ooh.
celebration of their 8th anniversary in Pacific Beach. So,
Nice.
man, just a really great beer that I had to recover from. I was sure to drink it at about 4 o'clock, so I had enough time to get right for this show, and it worked pretty well. It was just a delicious beer. Ryan bourbon barrels this year. Usually they just do bourbon. It
Nice.
tastes like drinking a whiskey barrel with
Oh.
just a little bit of dark fruit in the back from the original style, but really it has so much of the expression of the barrel that that's what you're getting. And so it's a nice special occasion beer. Yeah, and it comes out this Friday. So, oh my
Nice.
God, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Wow, that's
Mañana.
tomorrow, sir.
Mañana.
Hey, just a little
What
side
day-
note. A
what day
little
is it?
side.
I had a quad,
I'd say a little side note. I was supposed to be there today, bottling that.
but
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
They Amplified called me up to ask me to come help them bottle that beer.
you had a hangover
Aw.
from 3 Punks or what?
No, they just said nope. We don't need you.
Well,
That's pretty much it. That's literally what it was. I was like,
something
all
we'll
right,
never
cool.
say.
Oh my God, that's hilarious.
I'm like, thanks, Sebastian. I woke up early for nothing.
And so then why did
And
you
start
feel
drinking
like?
barley wine.
Oh my God, that's hilarious, man. Ashleigh, what was the last beer you drank before joining us on there? I'm sure it's one of yours, but
Homer's. I also live a 3-minute walk from my brewery, so it's a little entirely too convenient. It's the beer that I didn't send you guys, which is Hellas. So sorry.
no, it's totally
Kind
cool.
of my
I'm glad you
go-to.
enjoyed it.
What's it like?
It's malt. I like to say it's bland and subtle,
It's
but
quite
maybe
delicious.
I'll be able to get some out to you.
I'm
That-
pretty sure we've all drank it.
Yeah,
If you want to send it, we're not going to say no.
Yeah, I mean, you
But-
still have my address. I'm not going to deny your package, but at the same time, we've all had it. We're just very, very stoked that we were
We
able
just
to have it
missed out
today.
on Oktoberfest. I was going to try to
Yes.
send some. We ran out of it so quickly this year, which is really good.
Yeah.
But it just like evaporated. It was kind of amazing.
It was good 2
So,
years ago.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed
Yeah.
it 2 years ago.
And Doppelbock's not out yet, so
Mm.
maybe when
So we
Doppelbock
have
comes
to-
out, I'll send you some of that.
Maybe it's like a
please.
trade situation. Like we could send you something in exchange for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What do you want from out here? We will send you a package.
You like society beer?
I do. I like those guys. I was there not very long ago. Actually,
Okay.
last time I was in California, which was
Nice.
earlier this year, I guess, or 5 years ago. I don't know which one.
All right, one to 5 years. 1 to 5 years. Got
It
it.
was the Super Bowl.
Kind of
It was the
different,
Super Bowl.
I
Yeah,
could
It
have
was the
been
Super
there
Bowl.
a year ago, but 5 years ago I was not there to help you.
Yeah.
So,
We went to the Super Bowl, or we were out there for the Super Bowl. We went out there to release our Czech dark lager with the Bagbys, and then the four of us took a little trip down to Mexico, and
Oh,
Yes.
heck yes.
it's our favorite thing to do.
Where did
I
you
miss
go? Where did you go?
that sounds
I
like
went
Jeff.
to Ensenada. Yeah,
Yes.
we've done it twice now, which is great.
Yeah.
It was Dandy's birthday, and we're pretty fast
Very
friends with those guys. So we decided to go down to Mexico. It's like the last time we left the country, weirdly. So
Rad. So
Yeah.
cool.
so,
You
but
went to my motherland.
Yeah.
Went to my
So I went to
motherland.
society, went to a bunch of other places, and we kind of just chilled out and had a good time.
That's awesome.
Right on.
Mexico is really, really rad, except for this year. Anyways, so
Hey, we're still rad. What are you talking about? Get out of here.
What's this weird? You live here. I don't know what you're talking about.
yeah,
It's still my
yeah.
country. You know that.
It's still my country.
Brandon's still in the home country, so he doesn't even like get out. He like going across the
I'm
street is a whole different world for him.
I'm designing my own flag. It's gonna be awesome. Like, I like the colors green and blue and red. I don't know.
Every color.
I haven't left the house in a while. Actually, is what we're getting at here.
Yeah.
No,
I think
he goes
day
on walks.
I think
He
we're
goes on
about
walks.
day 225 in my own home. So
Yeah.
that's what we're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you have any great, I should crowdsource some art for the flag. Okay. Anyway.
Yes, exactly. Add that to the 12 articles you wrote today, and then you can shut it down. So I went way far away from my house, all the way to North Park Brewing, which is 1.3
cool.
miles.
That's a good
Disciples of Foo,
Foo. Yes. Yeah. Say it like that.
Citrus Squad. So just a great double dry hop IPA from North Park Brewing, of course. They do that very, very well. And it's like a double version of Hop Foo, which is the beer that launched them. This beer is amazing. And the best thing about it to me, other than the pseudo Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle styling, is since they named it Citrus Squad, it makes me think he's going to kind of treat it like a single hop series and release like the Mosaic Squad or whatever you call a group of mosaics.
The Nelson contingent.
There you go. Exactly.
That'd be cool. That'd be cool.
A gaggle of Comet. Whatever.
Congress of Comet. It's a Congress of Comet.
Congress. of
Use
Congress.
alliterations. You're right.
Yeah.
Gaggle of Galaxy.
Yeah.
Gaggle of
Galaxy.
Galaxy.
There you go.
Chelsea, feel free to use any of these. Go
Yes,
for it.
yeah,
Go
yeah.
for it, Chelsea.
We like you enough to let you
Yes.
steal our intellectual
Use
property.
all those. Yeah.
It's all good. So
He's got to watch the show.
right, that's the first big lead. First big lead. So anyways, one of the awesome things about North Park Beer Co. is they now have a very low delivery minimum of like $30. So it keeps getting lower. Like 6 weeks ago it was 40. Now I think they're down to 30. So if you want fresh beer from around the corner, which we always recommend drinking when you're talking about IPAs specifically, and your fridge is nicely stocked with Pariah products, then also get some North Park beer. We love them.
Babino said $20 delivery minimum.
Oh, $20
you
delivery
can still
minimum.
buy
Thank
40
you.
or 50 to support them. So it's okay.
Yes, exactly. Still buy
Exactly.
20, still buy 30 or 40, but now it's only 20.
And you can do the 20. Just give a $10 tip.
Yes.
There you go. There you go.
So that's one of the things about several local breweries that I have liked is that they have added a way for you to contribute to the staff directly, whether they call it a gratuity or a staff meal. There's a brewery in town that allows you to buy lunch for their workers.
Oh, that's excellent.
There's a brewery in town, Modern Tide specifically, that allows you to buy meals for healthcare workers when you're ordering beer as a side. So there's a lot of opportunities for you to
Gravity Heights does a beer for the staff.
Yeah, you could buy a beer for the chef.
Yeah.
So that's all good. So like a lot of our local breweries have not only hard pivoted and then hard pivoted and then hard pivoted and then turned the other way because of how the regulations and everything keeps restricting them or loosening or restricting, and we're about to go back into another hard restriction phase because people can't wear a fucking mask in San Diego.
Purple.
But
I think California ruined purple for everybody because when you thought of purple, you thought of Prince.
Yes. And now I think of COVID. Anyways, the point of that was, not the businesses are hurting for sure, but one of the things that kind of went away when there wasn't service is that the tipped staff no longer had any tips. So the breweries that are offering a way for you to do that for your favorite bartenders, I think are awesome. And so kudos to them. And $20 minimum for delivery is insane. That means that they will bring you 1 4-pack. That's fucking service. That's bananas, and underlines how important your business is to this brewery.
Yeah.
Period.
So wait, so I haven't ordered from them. Is there like a delivery fee or?
Nope.
Nothing.
No. It's free delivery with a $20 minimum order.
He made an appearance.
Yes. So
yes.
Good.
I'm like, I want to see
doggy.
him. I want to see the bear.
Yeah, I love dogs.
Oh, where is he? Where is he? There he is.
Oh,
Hi.
It's your temporary life assistant.
Where is he? He's over here. He's hiding. He's being shy.
And run.
He's being shy. Mostly he just wants, you know what he wants? He wants dinner right now. That's what he says.
Yes. It's quite important.
Sorry. Okay.
So
He's not, trust me.
Right.
So we've mentioned it before that Soulport Pills is your favorite brewer's favorite beer. It's so freaking awesome. We're drinking it twice on the show.
Yeah.
So thank
Pour myself
you, Ashleigh.
another one. Hey.
Now he wants to play.
For sending us a very generous yeast sample package.
Yes.
But also this glassware, and you also gave us a buttload of stickers, which we really do appreciate. Thank you very much.
I use different metrics to describe the amount of stickers, but
well, sometimes I'm colorful. But really, first, just thank you for being generous. It's one of the amazing things about craft beer in general is that the people are really into just being supportive of their community and anything that gets their message out there. And we really appreciate that exchange. And cheers to you.
Oh, no.
Cheers to this amazing beer.
I'm there. Hold on.
Yes, you got it.
Look,
you even got a good pour.
I tried.
I'm like almost at the end here.
Well done.
Sorry, I'm still working on the Lost Abbey.
Well,
Sorry.
We are kind of too, so that's okay.
So how would you describe your overall brewing philosophy and what constantly motivates you to keep striving for excellence?
I think the brewing philosophy is I love the traditional stuff. I just do. It's weird actually. Even in Germany, they don't do some of the things they used to do anymore. And I think keeping some of those techniques and preserving that, you know, at the end of the day, I love making beer. I love being a brewer. So I don't know why I would shortcut, you know, some of these processes that are integral to making beer for me. So it's about that. It's about, you know, having a place, like the overarching thing is having a place that people can come and hang out and, you know, brings people together, you know, so they can come and meet and hang out. We have a nice big space in order to be able to do that. And, you know, as far as brewing philosophy, I think you should do whatever it is you want to do. Like, I'm not here to judge anybody's business or however they want to do things or whatever. But for me, we decided at the very beginning that we were never going to have anything in a tank that we didn't want to have in a tank. I was never going to make anything that I didn't want to make. And I think sometimes people get locked up in doing some of these things, and then you end up resenting your customer base because of it. So always, you know, 100% staying true to the beer that we wanted to make from the beginning and never feeling like I have to or should do something. I guess that's kind of, I don't know if that sums it up basically, but, you know, making high quality beer, making as traditionally as possible, making consistent beer. Consistency is in the top 2 things that we strive for in the kind of beer that we make. So that consistency over and over again.
I'm super curious to know what some of those techniques that aren't being practiced as regularly in back in Europe, as you're talking about, what are some of those shortcuts they're making that they didn't before?
So, you know, there's a lot of high energy cost in Europe. So a lot of times, instead of boiling the wort, they actually use what's a vapor stripper, basically. It's called a strucker, and it basically just strips out all the DMS. So they never actually boil, which I think weirdly makes the hops taste funny, because I don't think you're not actually boiling the hops. You're kind of taking it to 98C and kind of letting it sit there for a little bit, and so they never fully isomerize and kind of aren't snappy.
Like just like pasteurization?
Basically, you're flashing off the DMS. Yeah, you're flashing off volatiles. And that's because they get taxed on wort. And so if you boil off less wort, so you're only having maybe a 1 or 2% boil off rate, where we look for somewhere between 8 and 12% boil off rate. You know, I think that makes for a different idea. Also, we have what's called a flotation tank, which is a pretty nerdy cold side technique. A lot of places aren't using those anymore. A lot of places in Europe are switching to cylinder conicals. They do make the beer go a little faster, ferment a little faster. There's convection and things like that. We try to do, you know, long lager time, you know, very low temperatures, no diacetyl rest. Just trying to keep some of these things alive from the beginning. Decoction. I mean, most places are doing decoction, but they find it less and less necessary, which again is fine. I prefer the way the beer tastes when it's done that way, for me.
That's great. And you kind of mentioned consistency on all fronts of your brewery. Why is that so important to you?
I think it's so weird to go somewhere. I mean, everybody's had it happen, right? You go somewhere, you have a great time, or you have a beer you really liked, and then the next time you have it, it's not the same. And I find that kind of disappointing. I also think that, you know, for the people that drink a lot of our beer, especially when it's out on draft and stuff like that, is I never try to tell people when we have a new beer out or a new batch out, because I think they should all taste exactly the same. Like, that's a testament to, you know, the customers shouldn't notice when you make these small tweaks. If you can't make something over and over again, everybody can make, you know, there's been a bunch of breweries out there. I'm sure you've had a couple open up in San Diego that they say they're never going to make the same beer twice, or they have over 300 recipes or something like that. But how do you know if you're any good if you never have to replicate the process again? You can just, if you have a bad one, you just go, oh, that's a bad one, and you just kind of move on. Where I think you should have to stand behind every single one of them, and the consistency portion of that. Every time you come to our place, it should taste the same. It should be the same experience. It should be something familiar. And I think it's just a quality issue.
But you haven't seen the 300 awesome cans that they designed for those. So how can you possibly
Citra, Mosaic, and a Zaka, and then the Zaka, Mosaic, and Galaxy?
Yes.
So it's when they change the label can to red to green.
Yeah. This Mosaic Simcoe Amarillo beer is totally different than our Amarillo Simcoe Mosaic beer.
Yep.
Completely different.
Completely different.
That's awesome. All right, let's play the speed round. It's very difficult. What is your brewhouse size? You kind of mentioned it. What is the hectoliters, though? You said 35-ish barrels. What is that in hectoliters?
38.
Point something, yes.
I mean, I'm weird. I don't even actually care that much.
Rad.
I just know what fits in this tank, and I lose a lot of beer because of the whirlpool and a bunch of other things. So I try not to I'll know if
That's
I make
awesome.
too little.
That's right. What is your current fermentation capacity?
We can do in a year or at a time.
At a time, like how many physical tanks you have?
I have 5 90-barrel lager tanks and 200-barrel fermenters and 150-barrel fermenter.
Rad. That's rad. How many barrels did you produce last year?
1,891.
Nice.
Right.
That's pretty fucking specific right there. And I assume much less this year, but how much of a reduction do you feel this year?
I just did taxes. I think we'll be at 16 or 1,500.
All right.
Not a crazy less amount. It's going to depend on how canning and stuff like that the rest of the year goes. There was a chunk, obviously, in the middle there where right at the beginning of COVID where we didn't brew at all. So we know what was going to happen.
Well, and then also I'm sure you expected to brew like 2,200 barrels this year. And
yeah, we did. That's about our capacity. So.
Slight curveball. Yeah. Oh,
Slight,
2,200 barrels is approaching your capacity. So you're
it's
almost
about our capacity. Yeah.
Okay. So you've got like one more year of growth before you start being on the other side of the coin where you can't make enough. That's right.
Get some more lager tanks. So.
Yeah, there you go.
She's got a smile on her face.
She's ready. She's ready for more takes. So what is your top selling beer this year?
We're kind of weirdly, usually it would be Helles, but because of canning, it's 50-50 Pils and Helles. The difference was Pils is served in a smaller glass, Helles is served in a much larger mug. But again, with the cans, we're putting about the same of those two beers. Third behind is Dunkel.
Okay. And I know you only normally produce 3 beers, but how many beers do you usually have on tap?
Maximum 6, usually 4.
That's awesome. All right.
That's crazy.
That's awesome. That's so rad. It's so refreshing actually to hear. And the favorite beer that you produce, I think you've answered this earlier too, but say it again.
I'm a Pils Helles, right in between there. Depends. The Pils, if I know if I'm going to be drinking all day, that way they're smaller and I don't just chug them. Helles, if I know I'm tying it on.
So I did it wrong. Sorry.
No, that's fine. For those listening that may not know, and it's even hard for me to tell when I'm drinking them sometimes, other than the hoppiness. What is the difference between a Pils and a Helles?
You've got basically that right. Although I think Helles should be a malt showcase. It should be the base malt should taste like that. It should be just enough bitterness to kind of kiss off the sweetness. A little bit more bland, honestly, if you will. And then Pils should be much sharper bitterness, kind of enough bitterness just to dry the tongue and make you want to take another sip, and kind of a dusty, softly grassy, lemony hop aroma. And both very carbonated beers. So,
Nice.
And one's a little bit more alcoholic. The Helles is a little bit more alcoholic than the Pils, only slightly though.
Excellent.
Like 4.6 to 4.9. So.
And in Denver, what are the current restrictions, COVID related, that you're operating under? What can people come to you and do?
Today, or what do I think next week?
We're talking about today. Let's just
explore.
Next week is like 4 years from now. Let's talk about today.
Today we are at 25% indoor capacity, or 50 people, whichever is less, which it just went down from 50% or 50 people, which actually doesn't affect us too much because our indoor capacity is like 400. So it's the same amount for us. And then they allowed everybody to have patios and things like that. So we do have a makeshift patio out front. They can have as many people as basically you can hold, as long as everybody's distanced correctly. No more than, I think it's either 8 or 10 at a table right now. It kind of changes daily. And then we have a 10 p.m. curfew restriction. You can't serve after 10 p.m.
Right.
do you have a mandated you must order food to order beer?
No, and we're a brew pub as well, so we already have to follow some sort of those rules-ish, but not really.
Yeah, so in San Diego, we currently have to order what they call, air quotes, a bona fide meal to order a beer, and then we're all splitting hairs over what a bona fide meal is, of course, because
if you're eating, you don't get COVID, apparently.
Yes.
So,
No, you're missing the
I
point.
ate chiplets and cheese out of an avocado today, so I don't know if that counts as a bona fide meal.
If you make your brewery a restaurant, you're essential. That's it's the way you should think about it here in San Diego. They
basically say that food is essential, beer is not.
Yeah, they don't actually want breweries open.
Well,
but they're
the other
working
thing that they're
with
saying
us.
too, though, is that the other narrative that they're running is that when you drink, you make foolish decisions, and you won't be just as with it to make the right decisions.
Which
but
is
really,
our
governor, you have to remember, owns restaurants.
Yes.
Well, you got to understand that you can go to wineries and drink and not order food.
No problem.
Yes. He owns a winery.
Yeah. But beers, you do. Breweries, you do.
Winery.
So,
it's a as you can tell, everyone's totally on board, and we all agree with the rules. So it's been very difficult for everyone, but business owners in general in every field except construction are really struggling. At least in Southern California, construction is
and medical,
insane. In medical, duh. Yeah. But most of my friends, well, not most of, but a lot of my friends work in event production and event coordination and hospitality and beer, obviously. And 25% of my friends that I know in beer are still working, and the other 75 are not or have moved on to other things. It's a very challenging time all around. I couldn't imagine being a business owner right now and trying to navigate staying alive with 1/10 of the income, but yet more expense to operate because of masks and health code rules. And it's very difficult time. Hand sanitizer is not cheap. Just that.
Gloves right now, they're like 4 times the price, and they've stopped making size small, apparently. So
really?
Wow.
Yeah. It's getting real.
I work in auto parts. If you need me to send them to you, I can.
I've got a full box right now, which is
okay. All right.
I
have them, girl. I have them.
And canning, and don't forget there's a can shortage too now.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
And they're saying,
welcome back to Growlers, everybody.
that says back. That they're saying that's going to last for 2 or 3 years too. Like they need to build another factory to catch up with the canning demand currently. You can't build a factory overnight. I mean, it's just not possible.
Maybe they'll build it out of cans.
Yeah, exactly. So they'll build a couple factories. They'll ramp up the manufacturing process. COVID will get under control. The demand will go back down. Then there will be too many cans on the market. It's just these things are cyclical. We, as a country, specifically us American, we overreact to situations. So, like, instead of opening one factory, there will be a bunch of greedy assholes that are like, aluminum can shortage. I'm starting a canning company today, and in 5 years we'll have too many. And it's just how it works here. But
and maybe cans will get cheaper.
Yes,
right now,
that's hopefully, the especially if you're canning at a low quantity and you don't have your own canner and you have to bring in a mobile person, it can be up to $1.75 just the material and package cost per can, and you could sell it for $4 or $5 maybe. You guys don't. You guys are very reasonably priced, but like on the higher end IPAs, they go for $5-6 a can here in San Diego. But it very, very, again, breweries already started with a very thin margin, as most manufacturing facilities have, very thin, and then you put all this rest on it, and it's almost an impossible situation. So please, I hope the best of luck for you guys and your business, and I hope you come out on the backside somehow positively. First off, survive. Then secondly, some positive growth for you on the back end. But let's jump into the incredible amount of news we have. And this is the entire reason why we recruited Brandon to be on the show.
No,
In case you were,
I like it.
Hey, Ashley, in case you were wondering, I know I'm a lot to take, but we do have
Good self-awareness, you know. Not many people possess it.
It's good to be aware, but you've got the coif of life going on right now on your hair tonight. It's perfectly fluffy. I love it. Knock us out with the news. It's a big book today.
You got a kind of an Eric Estrada thing going for you.
Ooh,
there,
yeah.
friend.
Ooh.
Hey,
That's what I'm seeing.
you know how fast you were going? Man. Yeah. Well, that's great to know. I could have been a lot worse.
No, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, you could have been the white guy that nobody knows.
Thank you.
Yeah, who was that?
His name was John. His name was John.
And his name was John.
Yeah.
That's what she said.
I don't
Very
remember
well.
his last name.
Okay, so we do have a lot of beer
We
news
can't
about
say
San
that.
Diego.
But it was true. You said it.
This is awesome.
Go.
Okay,
Sorry, Brandon. Go ahead.
no worries.
Ashley,
I
I'm
really,
sorry. This is what happens on the show sometimes.
Oh, no, I
I
like
legit,
it. I was
I
really
legitimately
trying to flag
enjoyed
down.
that.
She's like, I gotta feed my dog. Hurry up.
Flag down Bill for another beer here.
Another beer,
Okay,
please.
let's do this. If you want to get a beer, go right ahead. I'll take a
Oh,
little bit.
he's gonna get me one. Yeah.
Excellent.
Okay.
Service.
So,
Her partner's there now.
coming back to San Diego, the beer news.
Croissant.
Okay.
Croissant.
Class.
Exactly.
Sorry. Shh. Guys, behave. He's getting mad at us.
I'm not. I'm just waiting for that dip. Okay, so some people may have heard of a Collab, which is a collective that's being built in Vista, right next to Indian Joe Brewing, off the State Route 78. A rather large facility. It's going to have about 5 different spaces. 3 of them are for breweries, 1 for a winery, 1 for a culinary tenant. So it's something that's trying to bring everything together. This was planned way ahead of COVID, but they haven't let that slow them down. They're still moving ahead. They have not secured their winery nor their restaurant tenant, but they do have the 3 breweries, and 2 of them have local ties. So the first one is Breakwater Brewing out of Oceanside. Brew Pub has won many JBF World Beer Cup awards, but kind of flies under the radar with Bagby up there and a lot of other Oceanside operations that are larger. This should help to make their presence a little bigger. And then another one is called Barrel and Stave, not to be confused with Stave and Nail. Barrel and Stave is a spin-off of San Marcos's Wild Barrel Brewing, which we all know Dr. Bill and Chris White, not to be confused with White Labs' Chris White, but Chris White there.
Yes.
It's always so confusing
Start
because
getting some new names.
right?
Not to be confused with Barreled Wild.
Exactly.
Yes.
So Wild Barrel, the owners are Bill and Chris.
Hey,
Bill
those are my
Sizek.
business partner's name.
Really?
Not to be confused with that.
Not to be confused with my business partner.
Maybe we do need some new stuff. But Bill Sizek, and then the head brewer is Bill Sobieski, and you have Chris White, who's going to be putting this spin-off going on. It's already got a bar in Fullerton, California, but they're going to go ahead and have a brewing operation in the Collab, where Chris works with Chris Banker, who is a award-winning and rather well-known local home brewer, and he'll be bringing home brewers in to work on their recipes there on a professional level, well, a semi-professional level, I guess you would call it.
We would all know Chris Baker for Chocovesa. So that was the beer that he won a national homebrew contest at Stone for. Now Stone makes that beer every year.
Well done by Stone and Insurgente.
Insurgente.
Whatever's
Insurgente
going
makes the
on
better
with-
version.
True, that's a good point. But I'll take the other one.
No, they're both great. They're both
I
great.
love Stone. And then the other. Oh, go ahead.
I was
Okay,
okay,
so
say Insurgentes is spicy, and I like that combination.
Yes, I agree with you. So the other brewing operation is Laguna Beach Brewing Company, beer company rather, and a former brewer from Beechwood is already heading that. But they're going to have a presence here in San Diego at that, which will hopefully open in Q1 2021. I still think it might be optimistic, but kind of cool, and very interesting that people are taking advantage of opportunities that exist even in this pandemic. So perhaps that can still be something that can be workable for the business owner as well as people who want to go and discover new breweries or maybe places they can't get to already. Next up is Novo Brewing. So they went into the old Culture Brewing spot in Ocean Beach on Newport Avenue. They put in a combo hard kombucha and beer tasting room, as I told you a couple weeks ago. But then the very same week that they went in, another brewery that was already on that block of Newport decided that when their lease was up, they were going to get out because of the pandemic and things like that. They reassessed their business situation and decided, we're going to do something else. We're good with the spot, but it's not doing enough for us. We want to do something new. And that was Two Roots Brewing Company, the non-alcoholic and also cannabis-infused, THC-infused beer company that's based actually out of Las Vegas. On that note, come on, Nevada, you can count faster. Anyways, so it's a bit.
That's all we're waiting for.
I'm just saying.
We're not talking about it. We're not talking about it. We're not talking about it.
Either way, just hurry up. So very interesting to have one block have that much turnover, but it really speaks to the times that we're living in and how much can happen, especially in the satellite tasting room game where you don't have to have a brewing facility. So much can change so quickly. But the Novo Brewing tasting room has been really well received, way more colorful than what Culture had. Culture was a great place and people really enjoyed it. It was very well fit for OB, but there's this whole new life and vibrancy that's been brought in by this other operation. And it feels almost a little more OB in that it's just a little more out there, a little more avant-garde, a little more colorful. Whereas
a little weirder. Yeah, you got to have some weird
Exactly. And that's really cool. Going to Kearney Mesa, a very inland community, Circle 9 Brewing, the owner there, he's been there for 3 years. He decided he wants to go off and pursue other pursuits. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, so pursue other pursuits. He said he really enjoyed being there and all, but he wants to go and like explore the world. He's talking about getting an RV and like going around the entire country, and then maybe even going overseas and just like gallivanting around there, and maybe even starting a brewery, but in a completely different country. So first,
I'm gonna miss those drone races.
Right. That was if you got actually he's laughing, but it was really fun. So they race these little mini drones that are like 6-inch diameter. So they're like that little big guys? Around. Yeah, little tiny guys, but they race it right through your face, like right.
You're sitting at the bar.
So due to a lawsuit, they're going to have to close. No. But the important thing to note with Circle 9.
You didn't want bangs? What? You didn't want bangs? No,
eyelash.
I didn't need that eye. But
they will be missed.
Open. Yeah. They'll stay open to the end of the year while he explores opportunities. But and he may even stay open longer. But he really wants people to know, I'm still open. I'm still selling my beer. I'm still brewing the beer. So we'll see how that turns out. And then one company that has just like a million things going on is Carlsbad's Virgin Beer Company. Yeah. They took over the old Escondido Brewing Nana Brewery in the Escondido Pet and Feed Supply Company building.
One of the most original locations of all San Diego beer in a pet,
amazing,
in a horse feed building. It's amazing,
but a world famous because of like social media, very popular feed store. Who even knew, right? But
I didn't know that was a thing.
All outdoor seating, 1.5 barrel brewing. They're going to make it into an R&D facility and all that great stuff. They're getting very close to that and hope to do it by the end of this month or early next month.
Yeah.
In addition to that, they have a Little Italy kitchen-equipped indoor-outdoor tasting room that they've been working on for a better part of a year. But in between all of that, they found the time to open what they call the greenhouse. And it's at their Carlsbad headquarters. So it's 2 suites over from the suite that houses their production facility and their main tasting room. It's going to be a private event space eventually when we can have private events. And it's also going to be overflow for their big brewery events they hold at their headquarters when those can be held. But for now, it's just a nice secondary tasting room for them. If you come there and it deals with like the limited capacity that you can have. If you want to be indoors, it's another option for you. But it looks really nice. It has a lot of like the living wall qualities and the reclaimed wood, and it's really nice. Go ahead.
I've been in it. I've been there.
Hashtag influencer.
Anyway, so good friend Cesar Torres took me over there, showed me the whole space. It is gorgeous, you guys. So I think this is really going to help them, especially like this weekend when it's supposed to rain, so they can have that second space in. It's just a gorgeous, gorgeous space, and I felt pretty being in there. Like honestly, that's how nice it is.
Oh, then I definitely need to go.
Well, that's an awesome comment. You said you had a question.
No, that was more of a comment. Sorry. Sorry. More of a comment. Sorry.
She answered her question.
I was raising my hand. Sorry.
These days, I really appreciate firsthand experience. Thank you for providing that. I could not provide that. So awesome. But that's the end of the news for now. But let me tell you, there's a lot coming up next week and the week after. There's just a lot of things in the works that oddly enough, the pandemic is making possible.
And where can we find this news, Brandon? Where can we find this news?
Yeah, where can we find this?
Where can we find this news?
San Diego Beer.news, right there. That would be great.
Oh, wait. You're fucking advertising in the middle of the show?
Did he pay to do that? Come on.
Yes, he does.
I was forced into it.
I asked him the question. It wasn't advertising. I just asked him the question.
And if you would like to follow my lupus charity, Beer to the Rescue, you can go ahead and go to Beer to the Rescue. Just kidding.
Yes, indeed.
We're on hiatus right now, but we'll get back to helping lupus people later.
You'll be back when you can be back.
We're gonna come back bigger, stronger, faster,
bigger and stronger.
Yes.
So
we can rebuild.
No. Kanye didn't get those votes. Don't start singing his songs.
Sorry. Okay.
I can't even right now.
Kanye's concession speech was classic. I will give him that.
I missed that.
Did he rap?
It was one word. I don't even remember what the word was, but he tweeted one word. I don't remember what it was.
Did he just drop the mic out?
Yeah, exactly. So go to San Diego Beer.news, sign up for his newsletter, or go to patreon.com/San Diego Beer News. And for $5 a month, you'll find out about everything roughly, sometimes a day, but at least 3 or 4 hours before anyone else.
We're revamping that. So we've been around for 3 months now. We've done some trial and error. We've done a lot of analytics, and we figured out that now we can go ahead and give the patrons all the news at 6 a.m. and then put it public at 7. So
you got a whole hour early.
Yeah, it's not too shabby.
A lot of tweets can go out in an hour.
Wake up and brag. It'd be great.
If you
wake and brag, bro.
If you want to pretend that you're Cesar Torres and know all the breaking news of San Diego Beer, subscribe to Brandon's newsletter, and you too can act like Cesar. But if you want to support us, we couldn't possibly do the show without the support of amazing humans in the world. And if you support us at the pint level a month or more, which is $6 a month, I have to thank you verbally every single episode. And this week, those people are Ben, Raymond, Bill, Brian, Captain Eli, who won a t-shirt and needs to email me. Email me, Captain Eli. Cheers@indie.beer.
If you keep on bugging Captain Eli, he's going to find out that he has inadvertently been supporting us for months and years.
Maybe
that's what I'm saying.
Maybe I should be quiet. Maybe I should
let it go.
Let it go, bro.
I'll take it.
Stop saying it.
Casey, Dan Diego's, who's in the house. Thank you, Dan. Hi. Thank you. We appreciate it. Dante from Pariah Brewing. David
Martin,
the second greatest producer of this show in our history. Doug, Garen with Beer Alien. Greg from Stone, but not really Greg from Stone. The Indie Beer Show, brand COVID-19.
She's watching the Packers. You don't even have to do it.
You don't got to do the whole thing. She's watching the Packers game. Yeah.
Fine. I won't even do the whole thing. But this is just a reminder. If you pay me $6 a month, I have to say whatever you tell me to say. And Maggie took advantage of that. It was and it's a great spiel. So we'll get to it next week. Hobby Craftsman Podcast. James, Hoppy Beer Gear. I jumped around there very, very crazily. All right, here we go. Jared, Jason, Jess from Ale Tales, Joaquin from Quaff, Joseph Sokor, Joey from Hoppy Beer Gear.
Hi.
Judith, the beer historian. Kenneth, honorary patron for life. We miss you forever. Larry Smith, Hopsbauer, Liz, we love you. Matt and Candace Bobino in the house. Matt Knapp,
Rabbit-Nose.
Perfect Pour. Miguel, who moved to Texas, but we still love you. Mr. Peacock from Tapcraft, you're the best. Mike Sahagan, Nathaniel, Norman, O.C. Brugero, who was here earlier, at least. Pacific
Hi,
Beer Chat,
friend.
who was
Hi,
on the
last
last
guest.
episode.
Hi,
And we will be releasing the audio of Pacific Beer Chats episode on Monday. Robert from 13 Point, Rudy from Jolly Spaceship, Sergio Nigos, who showed up earlier, at least. Hello,
Hi,
sir,
friend.
if you're still here. And the best pun in patron history, Jagus.
Vegas.
Hey, we love you all. And if you somehow still, after all that, want to give us your money, that's patreon.com/the Indie Beer
We
show.
Why
understand if you
wouldn't
don't.
they want to give us money?
Right,
I heard
exactly.
you'll run for-
I
you'll
wouldn't
run
they
from a
want to give
bear?
everybody, but for $6 a month, I have to say whatever you want me to say there. So,
I feel like we should pay Ashleigh for subjecting her to all of that. But
right, exactly.
Thanks.
I want to see you run from a bear. That's what I'm here for. Not
Excellent, excellent.
do you have
That sounds like the Nick's IPA.
Right?
Yeah.
Run from the bear. Oh my god.
Run from the Bear IPA.
Yeah.
So
Just have a picture of Brian on it.
We'll have Liquor Store Mike sketch that up real quick.
bear skin.
Speaking of our awesome guest, Ashleigh, what is the best social media channel or channels to keep up with everything Bierstadt Lagerhaus?
Yeah, easy enough. It's just at Bierstadt Lager. You'll find us on Instagram. I don't really understand Twitter, so there's that.
That's okay.
It's safer.
And then Facebook, of course, and then my personal handle's at the bottom there, Reinheitsgebot Ash. So
Say it again so we know how to say it right.
Reinheitsgebot Ash, which they wouldn't let me put my actual title in Instagram because it's Reinheitsgebot is my
Yeah.
official title.
That's so
I have it on my
awesome.
business cards and everything, and people get a real crack out of it. But so
Yes.
that's why.
That's
I love it.
amazing. That's amazing.
I'm glad the show did not end without you telling us that. That's freaking
Yeah.
awesome.
That was an
I love it. I
important
give people
fact,
my business card, and some people will look at it right away. I like to leave little Easter eggs. I don't know if you got my email. Hopefully, you opened up the YouTube link at the bottom.
The freaking who is he? David Hasselhoff video was awesome. I did open
Hooked
it,
on
of
a
course.
feeling. Yeah, absolutely.
great.
Is it my signature? I
Wow,
like
she
to leave
does
little.
love Germany because they love him.
I was gonna say Germans love Hasselhoff. At least they tell us that. We don't know.
No, they
Don't
do.
forget, this comes out tomorrow, guys.
Thank you.
Tomorrow.
Yes. So
This comes out.
so let's zoom in on
But
Estelle real
not if
fast.
you're
So
listening to us.
No, not if you're listening.
So
No.
not if only for the people listening live, not for the people listening later.
Okay.
Capital of Craft comes out tomorrow. Again, a collaboration of several breweries here in San Diego to celebrate Beer Week. The beer supports the San Diego Brewers Guild, and more importantly, tomorrow at 7 p.m. This is Friday, November 6th at 7 p.m. to kick off Beer Week. We do
Yes!
Nice.
That was a good one. That was a good one. Nico.
We do a live toast,
was-
and
I'm-
so
I'm an audio guy. What do you expect?
Mhm.
they're encouraging all of us to go online live and make sure we're tagging San Diego Brewers and Pound SD Beer Week in our social media posts. I'm gonna start a live Facebook room so that I can at least cheers with 50 of my friends here in San Diego for the opening of San Diego Beer Week. Even though it will be a virtual beer week, we're still gonna celebrate. So if you want to get into my room, hit me up. Everyone knows where to find me. And
Or if you want to come to society, I'll be there. I'll be
excellent.
working
If you wanna
behind the
go-
bar.
if you
We can
wanna
all
go in
cheers together.
person, you
Okay,
can
Tell
cheers in
Smalty
person.
I said hi.
Did you say
Smalty?
pound?
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
hashtag, bro.
oh my
What
gosh.
are you doing?
Okay. I'm 40
I have nothing to
Pound,
fucking
pound, bro, pound.
Pound?
I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm very
He was
old.
doing the metric rules.
Yes, I'm very old. But that brings us to our number one things that we love when it comes to beer and Denver. And we're going to start with Mr. Hernandez. What's your favorite thing about Denver and beer, sir?
My favorite thing is just how easy it is. The walkability, the 16th Street Mall, everything being so centralized within downtown Denver. Because if you can't, even if you can, you come to San Diego, we're one of the most extensive counties in the entire United States. And there could be 3 breweries you want to visit, but they're way up north, way over on the west, way over in the far east, and it's almost impossible. But I go to Denver, and it's very easy to hit a lot of places, get a real feel of the community, real feel of completely different beers in the entire scene. And I can do it all for virtually no money in transit. There's no Uber associated with all that. Any hotel I've got's pretty good. And if I really want to get around, it's very easy. And there's a lot of people who want to give you suggestions at every stop on your route.
They got that free bus
It's a
too.
great beer community.
Yeah.
The
The
16th
free
Street Mall,
bus is
right?
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, it's so easy. It's just really simple, and it's a friendly community. I have to say, I've never met anybody there who was just like who made me not feel good. I was in Denver. Silent is the worst person. Like, that's great. I'll take Silent over somebody who's just adamantly not nice. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I always enjoy it. I always feel comfortable going there, and I don't think I've been anywhere in the United States, maybe New Orleans, more than San Diego, Denver. So, and I can't wait to go back. It's always fun.
Yeah.
That's rad.
Yeah.
And something I have felt in this whopping 3 times I've been to Denver. And so I expect that would translate to someone that's been there much more than me, A, Mr. Hernandez, and B, we'll get to the expert here in a minute. But as Estella, your number one thing about beer / Denver / GABF, get something in there.
GABF.
All right, that's pretty good.
How am I not going to say GABF? I mean, I love going to GABF. I was so sad I had to cancel hotel. I had to cancel flights this year. I was set to go, and damn you, COVID. But anyway, we'll be back bigger, stronger next year.
Hopefully.
I'm going straight to Ashleigh. We're going to hang out.
Yeah,
you're my new best friend.
Yes.
I'm bringing you shit, girl. I'm bringing you
That's
stuff.
exactly. I'm ready.
That's awesome.
Come a couple days before or after, because during
I get there Wednesday for Pink Boots. So
Cool.
Pink Boots Hop Rub. Hopefully you go to that.
I was saying I normally stay till Monday or Tuesday so that I avoid the big rush home, and I at least have one day on the town where not everyone else is there.
I stay till Monday as well because it's
That's cool.
it's just
I come a different month.
Yes.
just the airport's not a shit show on Monday. On Sunday,
It's garbage.
shit.
And you're
No
hungover.
gracias.
Let's be honest with ourselves.
Oh, of course.
I learned my lesson. I learned my lesson on that one.
I'm hungover on Monday too. I'm not gonna lie, but still, I mean, it's less people. So
That's
yeah.
awesome.
But yeah.
All right, Abel, number one for you, sir.
All right, I'm going to make a long story short.
Sure you are.
We when you actually brought me on the show and asked me what was a beer that got me into craft, it was actually that beer I had in Denver. I was living in Boulder at the time, and this was the year, as Mr. Padre over here with the Fernando Tatis hat on. It was in 1998. I went to a Colorado Rockies and Padres game. Yes, I went to a Colorado Rockies and Padres game. Went to the went to the ballpark, but before that, I went to a bar kind of down the street called Falling Rock.
This little bar. But you got to understand that Falling Rock opened in '97. I went there a year, and it was kind of like it was there. But the beer that I had again was Sam Adams, the lager, because that was my first. That was the beer that got me into the craft. But the shitty part about that was that the Padres lost like 11-2. Joey Hamilton gave up like 9 runs. Oh my god!
But we're Padre fans. We're used to that.
You guys went to the World Series that year.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was a good year. But
so
that
that is always going to be the memory for me in Denver and beer. Is that was the first time I ever had craft beer. That was Sam Adams, by the way. But then I went down that rabbit hole from that beer and drinking, because then we went to the ballpark and everybody's like drinking Coors, and I had some kind of local craft beer at the time there because it's Coors Field, of course, but I don't remember what it was. Like after that, I was like, oh, I know, I want this thing called an IPA or this lager. Like I want something different that's not Coors, and then I don't remember much after that. That was like 10 years of my life.
Well, and
then I gained like 40 pounds too, and it was
that does happen. But, the irony of drinking Sam Adams at fucking Folly Rock, it's so beautiful. It's like when Brandon was at O'Brien's and had Arrogant Bastard of all beers. Like,
I tried to order Heineken.
Yeah, even worse.
It was just funny because like I was looking on I didn't know much about ABV at the time. So then they were like, oh, the ABV alcohol volume, and I'm like, And I didn't want to go crazy, and the lowest one was Sam Adams, a 5%er, and I was like, I'll go with that, and then that was where it kind of sparked it for me. So
still a good beer.
It's a great beer,
It's a
even
beer.
today. It's just so opposite of the heart of Falling Rock. This was the beginning of Falling Rock, so exactly. It's totally changed since then. So they're similar to some of our amazing beer bars here. They're more about the local scene with a little spice and flavor from other regions.
Right.
It's awesome. So for me, everything you guys have all said has been very true, and I love the atmosphere and the people and how welcoming all the breweries are and how they put on their best show for GABF and all that stuff. But there is one brewery that I am just fucking in love with other than Bierstadt.
Can I guess?
Sure. 3 guesses. No,
Truve.
No, close.
Not Truve?
Truve is my second favorite brewery in Denver.
Stave?
No, it's not Cricket Stave. They're great. Don't get me wrong. Crooked Stave is great. Great Divide is awesome too. But there's one spontaneous fermentation brewery that sticks out head and shoulders above the rest in Denver.
Wait, when did Pariah open up in Denver? I don't remember Pariah ever opened up in Denver. Come on now.
What's funny is I have some breaking news about Pariah in a minute, but
come on,
it's Black Project. And so there's this tiny freaking sour house in Denver called Black Project, and they fucking excel at 96% of their beers. And there's 4% that are off the hook and weird, but 96% of their beers are insanely great.
What?
Do you agree? Do you agree with him?
I don't.
It's okay if you don't.
A lot of sour beer.
Yeah. So it's not her thing. Exactly.
But I do think they do a good job. I think they're definitely up in the, people who know what they're doing category.
Yes.
Which is a good category to be in. It seems like it should be larger than it is, but
I personally I personally like sours that are the long dedicated version with mixed fermentation and barrel aging, and they do what they excel at is blending. And a lot of sour houses don't blend. They do, single batches, and that's great, but when you're looking for kind of a consistent base where each different beer has a flair to it, Black Project really excels. So if you like sour beer and you're in Denver, seek out a bunch of Black Project. But we got to close it out with the expert.
I love GABF.
Excellent.
Yay! I love it. Okay. So part of it is semi-selfish. I love that everybody comes to me. I don't have to go anywhere.
That's fine.
We're okay with that.
I get to see everybody at one time. It's awesome. You get to meet a bunch of new people. I literally have to prepare for weeks for that because it is in my backyard. I live a 3-minute walk from the brewery. So I basically make my meals in the morning. We put them in the crock pot. I have to get up early, walk the dogs.
Really I
want to be stuck at the brewery. I mean, the last couple of years, I've actually had to filter midweek because we ran out of beer, which is very stressful.
Wow.
But it is always worth it to meet people that I've never gotten to meet, or hang out with people that I only maybe get to see once in a while, or re-hang out with a couple of people. And I love GABF when it's in town. We don't compete in it, and we don't ever go. So it's kind of
you don't have time to.
I just live at my brewery back and forth, and I drink 25 pills a day.
Well, we always say that the only time we ever get to see all the San Diego people at once is GABF. We have to go out of state to see all our friends.
Okay, so I'm taking you tamales. I'm taking you beer.
All right, if you want tamales, you got to go to La Casita. That's the place.
No. I will take you tamales from here.
She's gonna bring them from Grandma.
Then I will bring them. I will bring you to the best place there is. I'm half. I know I look white, but I'm half Hispanic.
I was gonna have my mom make them. All right, fine. You want to pull the ones out of my freezer?
Bring
them to me anyways, because I love that shit.
She doesn't even believe that Abel Garcia and Brendan Hernandez are half Mexican. So don't even feel bad.
But that's
not one bit. I mean, Abel Valdez Garcia Jr. No.
No, not Mexican enough. Not Mexican enough.
Not Eric Estrada status.
You are not going to win the tamale battle, but you are going to get free awesome tamales. So
Let's do a tamale battle. I like this idea. This sounds like a great plan.
Let's do a tamale and beer pairing, girl. Tamale and beer pairing.
That's what we should do. I like this.
Yes,
So,
let's do that.
That's what I'm talking about. This is whole new
breaking
thing.
news, new patron joined literally while we were talking about it.
Oh, what?
So new patron, Krista and Brian from Pariah Brewing.
hey!
Obviously, Pariah is my favorite brewery in San Diego. I've said their name 10 times tonight. I built a tasting room. I'm friends with the owner. They're awesome. And they off and on, when they can afford it, have been our patron. And it's awesome that they just re-up. That's rad of you. Thank you, Brian and Krista. Thank you to our wonderful guest, Ashleigh. We love your beers. And final cheers to everything Bierstadt Lagerhaus. I cannot wait to be back in Denver and visit you directly.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
No problem. If you want to reach us, we're at cheers@indie.beer. If you still email, I know it's weird, at Indie Beer Show and Twitter, at the Indie Beer Show and Insta and Facebook, 619-798-6038. If you want to be one of 3 people that have left us a voicemail this year, I guess you would be 4th. If you want to be the 4th voicemail this year, 619-798-6038.
We gotta play those eventually.
We've played them all. It was Greg.
Yes.
Yeah, Greg from Stone, which was the most epic voicemail of all time. Garrett Varner, one of our.
We played 2 last week.
Travis Hudson, co-host of the year.
He came to Mujeres last weekend. Thank you, Travis.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And for everyone listening, we very much appreciate you. And thank you for everyone that commented and joined us. For Estella, Mr. Hernandez, Mr. Garcia, Ashleigh in Denver, and me. I'm Brian. Beautiful DABF moment to close us out. I'm Brian. You've been listening to the Indie Beer Show. Thank you and good night.